Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an attendee in listen-only mode.
both sessions today, there is one question which says that we have session in the morning and also in the evening. Will it be same topic? I don't think the topic will be same, but on a higher note, what we are covering is Python. So it will not be the same topic, but we'll be covering different aspects of Python. Same topic మళ్ళీ పొద్దున్న సాయంత్రం అయితే సీరియల్ అవుద్ది లేదా న్యూస్ ఛానల్ అవుద్ది. ఓకే సార్. Okay, sir. So let us look into what we have discussed yesterday so that we can అప్డేట్ అవుతున్నాయి రోజు. నిన్న నోట్స్ లేదు ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, జస్ట్ రిమైండ్ గోపి వన్స్, విల్ గెట్ ఇట్ డన్. ఎవరో ఒకళ్ళు క్లాస్ అయిన తర్వాత ఒకసారి గోపికి చెప్పండి. ఓకే సార్. సార్ పడను నోట్స్ వచ్చింది. ఆ లిస్ట్ లో యాడ్ చేశారా లేదా లింక్ లో చూసి. యా. సో yesterday we have discussed about mutable types, immutable types, okay, less frozen sets, okay, sets and tuples. So this is what we have discussed. Okay, so today let us try to continue our discussion, but before that let us try to solve one problem with whatever we have learned so far. We have also learned for in this process. Okay, right sir. Yeah, so కొంచెం కష్టమైన ప్రాబ్లం తీసుకుందాం. We have solved the prime factor, right? Prime factor solve చేసాం చేయలేదా? Palindrome, I think function would help. We have not spoken about functions. Smallest multiple. Okay. Yeah. Can we start this? Yeah. So what is smallest number when we divide it by all the numbers from 1 to 10? Okay. Largest prime factor we did, but it would be better when we deal with functions, because anyway I'll be defining functions anyway, right? So now just try to look at this problem statement. So what it is trying to tell us, 2520 is a number which is divisible by all the numbers from 1 to 10, and this is the smallest possible number. Okay, so what will be the largest possible number which will be divisible by all the numbers from 1 to 10? Okay, 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 into 6 into 7 into 8 into 9 into 10. Andena? This is the largest number which will be divisible by, because obviously when you multiply all the numbers, that will be the upper bound, because it will be divisible by all the 3. So, and what will be the smallest one? Yeah. So, shall we try this problem? అర్థమైంది ఈ ప్రాబ్లమ్? So let me try to look into this, or let me try to explain this problem. What is trying to tell us? Let us try to take numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, what is the smallest number which is divisible by all the numbers? What will be the largest, sir? Largest is multiple of all of this. That if a number that has to be divisible by all the numbers is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is nothing but 5 factorial. So 5 factorial will give you 120. Okay. Now what is the number that is divisible by all of this? Let us start from 6. No. 7. No. 8. No. 9. No. 10. Okay, but 10 is not divisible by 4. Okay. Then you try 11, not possible. 12, not possible. 13, not possible. 14, not possible. 15, not possible. Okay. 16. Okay. 17, 18. If you try to basically start doing all of this, the number that would be divisible, which is smallest to my knowledge, should be 60. Okay. So 60 is obviously divisible by 1. It is divisible by 2, divisible by 3, divisible by 4, and divisible by 5. Okay. And largest possibility is 120. So in the same way, what is trying to tell us? Okay. Factorial calculator. ఎవడో రాసే ఉంటాడు. Yeah. Okay. So if it is 10 factorial is this. But he's trying to tell that a number which is divisible by all of those numbers is. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now what do you think I should do? What are the numbers which I should check? So obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should start from 6. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Right. That is one approach. So we start from 6 and we go to 120. In between that, if we find any number that is divisible by all the 5 numbers, that would be our stuff. But is there anything to simplify this? దీన్ని ఏమైనా సింప్లిఫై చేయగలమా? Okay, so a number has to be divisible by 5, largest number, yes or no? So a number which is divisible by 5, all we need to do is add 5s there. So first check with, we are anyway 5 is not the possibility. So what is the next possibility? Try with 10, then 15, then 20, then 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So in this case, the number of items which you check will become less. In the previous case, the items which you check will be little bit more, but we will try both the things. Okay, right. So shall I solve this? Yeah, but I'll be doing that. అర్థమైందా అవ్వలేదండి ప్రాబ్లమ్? అయ్యేనో అవ్వనట్టుందా? Yeah, fine. So let us try to basically, what is this Euler 5? Yeah. Euler 5.py. Okay, right. So first what I'll try to do is I'll try to basically find out 1 minute. Let me give this. I have not created the note section also. Let us try creating. Okay, right. So let's solve project. Even though it is written as Euler, ideally we should be calling it as Euler. So refer here for problem statement. Okay. Now first. Okay. So let me try to calculate max number. First, let me try for 5. Okay, then we'll try to change the 5 to 10 and then to 20. We'll get the answer. Okay, right. So then to calculate factorial, I'm not going to write code. There is a method we will be using that. Okay. So let us call it as largest number is 5. That means we are try to calculating a number which is divisible by all the numbers from 1 to 5. And what is the maximum possibility is we have do you agree with me on this, sir? Yeah, right. Now what I try to do is for okay index in range of okay 5 to largest number plus 1. Why? Because whenever you try to write a range function, okay, so for example, if I try to write range of 1 to 5, it will not print 5 in this. So it will give me 1 to 4. Okay, so the maximum possibility is largest number. That's the reason I'm adding this. Okay, now let me try to call it as number. Okay, then I need to check this whether this number is divisible by all the 4 or not. Okay, right. So is divisible by all is true అనుకుందాం. ప్రతి నెంబర్ ట్రూ అనుకుందాం. Okay, right. Now for index in range of 1 to largest number plus 1, if number percentage index is not equals to 0, ఒకవేళ 0 కాకపోతే, then I am trying to tell that is divisible by all is equals to okay, and then there is no point continuing, because if it is not divisible by 2 or if it is not divisible by 3, there is no point checking for 4, because you want a number which is divisible by all the subs. Okay, now I'll come over here, and then if E is divisible by all is equals to true, print what is it, smallest, what was it, okay, smallest number divisible by all numbers between all numbers is number. Okay, right, and then you can break, otherwise you will continue. Okay, fine, sir. ఇక్కడ లార్జెస్ట్ నెంబర్ కాదు, ఇక్కడ మనం చేసిన తప్పు ఏంటంటే దిస్ ఇస్ మ్యాక్స్ ప్లస్ 1. సో బికాస్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు గో టిల్ ఫ్యాక్టోరియల్, రైట్? యా, నో ఇక్కడ ఈ ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటి? ఓకే, ఫైన్. సో ఆబ్వియస్లీ ఈజ్ ఆస్కింగ్ అబౌట్ generate doc string. Okay, this program will continue to have some of the problems, but that's okay. So this program tries to solve project Euler problem 5, and largest number is int of input of enter the largest number. Okay, fine then. So దీనికి వచ్చిన నొప్పి ఏంటి? ఒక మ్యాథ్స్కి ఆల్రెడీ వేరే మీనింగ్ ఉంది, ఆ పేరు వాడద్దు అంటుంది. ఓకే ఫైన్. ఇప్పుడు no, ideally there is something wrong in this, because this should not be the case, because we are changing the value of it to the false. Okay, that's fine. These two things I cannot fix, and then what it tries to tell over here is is trying to tell that rather than writing this, you can try to use this. Okay, E is true, or there is no need for you to write this also. You can basically leave it like this. If E is divisible by all, because what it expects is a Boolean value, true or false. Yeah, so right. Are we clear on this, sir? So shall we debug this program? Okay, this might go wrong, but we will try to improve this also. Fine, let me start from here. Debug. Okay, so what is the largest number? Let me enter 5. So factorial function meeku teliyadu, nene rasi ichchanu. Let us assume this is the code which I have given to you. So in Python there is one built-in function which gives you values, just like print input. We will be discussing about something called a standard library. We have not gone to our discussion. I didn't want to write the whole code of factorial again. That's the reason I've used this. So what is the maximum value which we got? 120. So the largest number that is divisible by all the numbers from 1 to 5 is 120, because it is factorial. Straight away simple. Now I am trying to check with 6. So just have to try to look. Okay, this is right now, what is the number? 5. So it is trying to check if 5 is divisible by all the numbers. No. Then it is checking for 6. Then 7. Okay. Kellarudidi. Okay. Because we know that it has to be divisible by all the numbers. Then the easiest thing which you could have done over here is, okay, I want to go from 5 to 120. But increment in the steps of largest number. If the largest number is 10, add 10. If the largest number is 20, add 20. Now let us see what happens. First, it is asking what is your largest number. My largest number is 5. Okay. Then 5 factorial is 120. So first it is giving me 5. So 5 is definitely not divisible by all the numbers. Then the next number is, the next number is 10. We know that 10 is not divisible by 3. 1, 2, and 3 it will come out. Okay, then we are checking for 15. So then 20. So then 25. Then 30. Okay, so then 35 doesn't work out. 40 doesn't work out. 45. Okay, doesn't work out. 50 doesn't work out. Oh, then we got 60. Are we clear on this, sir? So if not writing this is not a problem. Even in this case, you will try to find the largest number, but this program will run for more time. Adding this will eliminate some loops, right? So we are not checking any number between 5 to 10, because we know that none of them are divisible by 5. Yeah. So now let me basically try to do this. Okay. So sorry. Okay. Count is equals to 0. ఈ loop లో తిరిగిన ప్రతిసారి count add చేద్దాం. Count plus equals to 1. Every time a number is done, it will try to calculate that count. And then finally, let me try to print iterations. Iterations is how many times your loop has basically done. So for that, let me try to pass count. Don't worry about the syntactical stuff over here. That is easy. So let me try to remove this largest number and let me try to run the program over here. cd // instruction programs. Python Euler 5.py. It is asking what is the largest number? 5. So how many iterations? Because I started from 5, gone till 60. Now I will get the same answer. Largest number is 5. How many iterations? We are getting the same result, but this time number of iterations are less. That is the whole idea. Now let us try to find out whether it is working. Largest number is 10. Okay. So answer is 10 ki. Why is it not? I have to do this, right? I have to start from largest number. Okay. Are we getting it? So largest number is 10 and it says that it goes with 252. 2520 number of iterations are అలా కాకుండా నేను ప్రతి నెంబర్ కి చెక్ చేశాను అనుకోండి. Let us assume that I check for every number. Largest number 10. How many iterations? Which is better? So do we agree this is better? Because we are skipping certain codes. Now all I have to do is change this code to 20. So what is the answer? Okay. So let us cross check whether our answer is correct or not. All you have to do is project Euler problem 5 answer. Okay. Solution అవసరం మనకి ఆన్సర్ చేయాలి. ఆన్సర్ ఇవ్వలేదు ఎవడని. You will have answers, sir, somewhere. వీడి సొల్యూషన్లు ఎత్తున్నారు వీళ్ళు. ఓకే సరిపోయింది. The source code for leave it, that should be the answer. Right, sir. Yesterday, the program which we run, which ran for ages, did we got the answer? No, I didn't got the answer, sir. You run it today. Anyway, you'll be practicing, right? By evening, you should get an answer. Yeah. Right, am I audible, sir? Because the system has gone in mute. Or the yeah. Fine. Did you understood this? Any doubt in this program? Okay. I want you to debug this program for 4. What is 4 factorial? Okay. But 12 should be the answer. 12 is divisible by 1, 12 is divisible by 2, 12 is divisible by 3, and 4th avadu kada? Avutundi. 3 4s are 12 kada? Right. Fine. So try this program and debug this program for by entering number 4, and I want all of you to debug it. Okay, if there is anything which you didn't understood in this, kindly try to tell me, we'll correct that. Ideally, if I am a good programmer, whatever code which I am trying to write, I should be able to explain. Okay, now over here, ideally what I should be doing is, let me remove this counts. Counts. Yeah. So over here, I should be trying to tell that iterating from, okay, largest number, that is 5 to 120. In the case of 5. So if it is 10, it is 10 to 10 factorial. So ideally, what is that we are trying to do? We are trying to basically do, that is iterating from n to n factorial and incrementing by, yeah. So if the largest number is 10, I will be iterating between 10 and 10 factorial by incrementing by 10. Okay, right. So fine then. Right. So open your system, sir. In the meantime, I'll commit this code and you can use this link. And I want everyone to debug this with 4. And when you debug this with 4, you should be getting the answer of what? 12. Yeah. All right. People on the web, shall I share it? Will you debug it? Or it's okay, we'll debug at home. ఇంటికి వెళ్ళి చేస్తారు డీబగింగ్ పని, మన సిలబస్ కంప్లీట్ చేసుకుందామా? ఓకే, అలా అవుతే రేపటితో అయిపోతుంది పైథాన్. మీకు సిలబసే కావాలనుకుంటే రేపు సాయంత్రం కంప్లీట్ చేసేద్దాం. రైట్, ప్లీజ్ డూ ఇట్ సార్. రైట్, ఫైన్. I have shared this code, sir. Kindly share it on Telegram. Okay, kindly share it on Telegram, and all you have to do is copy this code and paste it in your stuff. Can anyone share from online into Telegram, sir? Your input should be 4. To my knowledge, the answer is 4 factorial is 24, but we should be getting it as 12. Yeah. Is it shared on Telegram, madam? Anyone? Telegram lo vachinda link? Yeah. Thank you. Right. So refer here for solution. Debug this program by entering 4 as largest number. ఫోర్కి అయితే 5 నిమిషాల కన్నా ఎక్కువ పట్టకూడదు. So Atul, kindly share it in the question section. Okay, I'll try to look into that by the end of session if I can accommodate it, but I'll use it. Telegram, I don't have an access over here, sir. Yeah. And I don't want to access also because it will be ringing continuously. Yeah. Right. Did you debug, sir? Okay. So now for the people who are debugging still, you can stop and then we'll try to look into this program. So I am debugging this code. In everyone's system, debugger is working, right? Yeah. Good. Now I am asking for largest number and I try to give largest number is 4. And 4 factorial will become 24. So now I have started from number. Number is 4 till 24. Okay. And I'm incrementing in the terms of 4. First it will check for 4. Then it will check for 8. Then it will basically check for 12, 16, 24. At that point of time, it would find. If there is nothing, then largest is the number which is divisible by all of them. So E is divisible by all. I have checked that. Okay, I have assumed that it is true. Then the current number which I'm checking is 4. It starts from 1 to 4. Is 4 divisible by 1? Obviously, it will be divisible by 1. I shouldn't be checking for 1 to be very specific because 1 is divisible by all the numbers. Yeah, right. Then 2. 2 and 4, it will work out. Then 3, it will not work out. So it has become false. It breaks. Okay. And then it continues. Now the number becomes 8. If you try to see, number has become 8. Now it is checking. Is 8 divisible by 1? Yes, it is. 8 divisible by 2? Yes, it is. 8 divisible by 3? No, it is not. So it goes out. Now after 8, the next sequence number is 12. So is 12 divisible by 1? Obviously, yes. 2, yes. 3, yes. 4, yes. And the loop is done. So now I'll try to tell that if the number is divisible by all, yes, it is divisible by all, then it comes out. And I print the iterations. Okay, right. So in Python, there is one syntactic element. In the for block also, you can put something like else. Else means it will come into the else block when it has tried all the elements. When it has tried all the elements. But if you break, right? మీరు బ్రేక్ అన్న స్టేట్మెంట్స్ వాడితే ఎల్స్ పనిచేయదు, ఎల్స్ లోకి రాదు. ఓకే, ఫర్ ద లూప్ ఆల్సో యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఎల్స్ స్టేట్మెంట్. వెన్ ఇట్ విల్ కమ్ ఇన్ టు ఎల్స్ వెన్ ఇట్ హెస్ ట్రైడ్ ఆల్ ద నంబర్స్. ఈ సీక్వెన్స్ లో ఉన్న అన్ని నంబర్స్ ని ట్రై చేస్తే అప్పుడు వస్తుంది. సో లెట్ us do the same debugging now. Okay, this is not required, but I'm just trying to show because in loops you might see else statement somewhere. Okay, so what is the largest number? I want 4. So maximum is 24. Right. So for count, it is trying to check for 4. Is 4 divisible by 1? Yes, it is. 2, yes, it is. No. By 1, yes. 2, yes. 3, no. Since it has broken, it will not get into else. Okay. Now we are checking for 12. Is 12 divisible by 1? Yes, it is. 12 divisible by 2? Yes, it is. 3? Yes, it is. 4? Yes, it is. Now it will come into else block. This is something which you don't have in other languages. Okay. So if you start from Python, you would see people using only for and else's to do this. But generally, it is not recommended to use it because it will sound confusing for the people who don't understand why what is else doing with for. Okay. So when will else be executed, sir? For లో కానీ వైల్ లో కానీ మీరు లూప్ లో పెట్టిన ప్రతి స్టేట్మెంట్ ని అది చెక్ చేసిన తర్వాత బ్రేక్ రిటర్న్ కాకుండా ఉంటే ఎల్స్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది. अगर आपने लूप लिखा है, लूप में जो भी रेंज पास किया है वो सारे वैल्यूज को चेक कर रहा है. ओके, और ऑर्गेनिकली बाहर आया, मतलब you have said that for 1 to 10 it has checked for all the 10 values, then it will come into else loop. Okay, so it is your choice whether to use else or not. In my case, else works out. Yes, so if I use else, there is no need for me to use that extra flag which is called as E is divisible by all. There is no need for it. Okay, right. I'm not committing this version, I'll still go with the version which I have shared with all of you. But the point is, right, there is no need for me to do something like this if I'm breaking out of it. Yeah. Okay. Are we clear on this? Right, sir. Now let us go with the next topic, which is dictionary. Okay. So at its very core, dictionary is also a list. But generally in the list, we have one item. In the set, we have one item. In the tuple, we have one item. In the frozen set, we have one item. But here we have, what is that we have is we have key and value. We have key and value. So dictionary is collection of key value. Okay, right. Now over here, what you would have is, you would have every time whenever you're trying to pass a dictionary, you will have some item and then you would have some value to it. This is like our normal dictionary. So when you take any dictionary, you will have some, for example, if you take Oxford dictionary, you will have a word and its meaning. So what is the key? Key is a word, and the meaning which you try to write it is value of it. Okay, but keys are supposed to be unique. You cannot have two keys with the same name in a dictionary. Okay, right? So now, as usual, Python dictionary. Let me try to see this. Okay, refer here for examples. Okay, sir. Now for this dictionary, what I'll do is let me try to create something like dictionaries and sequences.ipynb, because there are certain things which I still need to speak about sequences. Okay, right. Change the cell to markdown and then let me call it as dictionaries. Okay. Now dictionary is straightforward. So I'll try to tell that. Okay, this is what should I use? Dictionary vardo. Okay. So let me try to call it as okay, let us make it simple. Course dictionary. Okay. So whenever you are trying to basically write a dictionary, you will have a key value pair which looks like this. Okay. So in which you would have something like name. Okay. And or let me try to do this. Course is AWS. And this is taught by, yeah. So here I'm trying to do this. Ideally, after this, let me try to write Azure. And after this, I'll stop and probably I'll try to write testing, and testing is taught by Ramnath. So here I have something like a dictionary which has a value. Okay. Now let us go over here. He is basically having country capitals. This state capitals. Okay. State capitals. Okay. I think I should not be writing about Andhra Pradesh over here. Yeah. Fine then. So let me try to write Telangana capital is Hyderabad and Maharashtra capital is Mumbai. Yeah. So now if you try to see here also, it has started with a curly brace. If you remember, set also starts from a curly brace, but in set you will have only one values. Here I have multiple values. Okay, right. Now if I try to basically find out what is type of state capitals. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So am I getting dictionary? Yeah. Now, if you want to access items of it. Okay, so for example, I want to find out what is state capital of Telangana. So all I need to do is state capitals of Telangana. If I try to write it, it will give me the value. So you access the item with the help of key. Okay, and then you will get the value of it. So now state capital of Maharashtra, I'll be getting Mumbai. Now if I try to ask for some state capital which does not exist, for example, I have written Andhra Pradesh. Okay, మొన్నటి వరకు దీని ఆన్సర్ ఎవరికి తెలియదు. Okay, fine then. Now the whole point is it is giving me something like key error. So it is trying to tell that it doesn't exist in my dictionary. Okay, that is basically what we try to do. So we have a key and then we have a value. And whenever you want to access an item, you would be using basically on the basis of key. Okay, right. Now, right. So once you basically create a dictionary, inside the dictionary, you can update items. So obviously it is mutable. Okay, right. Keys of the dictionary should be unique. You can access dictionary items by basically passing it. You can add items to the dictionary. So for example, if I want to add an item, okay, now let us assume state capitals of Andhra Pradesh is equals to, now let me basically add this. Let me try to run. So చూసారా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసిన ఇంకా ఒప్పుకోవట్లేదు ఇది. నేను తప్పేం రాశాను నేను ఇంకా. ఓకే, ఇందులో ఏదైనా తప్పేంటండి, ఆగండి ఒక్క నిమిషం. లెట్ మీ ట్రై టు ప్రింట్ స్టేట్ క్యాపిటల్స్. ఒప్పుకోవట్లేదేమో అసలు ఇది. Yeah, due to that error it was not working out. Okay, fine then. So are we basically clear on this now? Now if I try to write state capitals of Andhra Pradesh, I think I should be saying, okay, దీనికి సిద్ధాంతం చూపించాలి సార్, ఇదేదో లాభం లేదు, కోడ్ కూడా తిడుతుంది. Right, fine then. So now this is how you add items. Okay, once you add items, you can basically also remove items by trying to put del statement. So if you try to put del and then if you try to put the key value pair, then that item will be deleted from it. I'm not trying all of this. Okay, now you can change the dictionary items in whenever you want. So for example, if I want to change the state capital, all I have to do is equals and then pass a value to it. Okay, and then whenever you are iterating through dictionary, here there are two loops which you generally try to have. So iterating dictionary. Okay, so first thing what I do is for state underscore capital in state underscore capitals. Let me not print the value, let me just print type of it, type of state capital, and then let me try to print state capital. So what is it is trying to tell? For state capital, the first thing what you get is this. And then what is it you are getting? You are getting Telangana, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh. That means that you are only getting values. Okay, so this is something which you would basically get. But the whole point is generally whenever you are trying to iterate through a dictionary, okay, and if you want both key and value, okay, let me try to write the same thing. With dot items. Okay, now whenever you are trying to do this, then what you will try to do is you will not write it like this, where tuple, right? So the first item is state and the second item is capital. So in the state you have a key and in the capital మీకు 2 కావాలంటే ఇది వాడండి, ఓన్లీ వాల్యూ కావాలంటే పైది వాడండి. ओके, सो अगर आपको की और वैल्यू दोनों चाहिए तो सेकंड वाला लूप बेहतर रहेगा. So if you just need only values, then you can use the loop which I have written on the top. Am I clear on this, sir? So here I'll get state, okay, and then I'll get capital. Am I clear on this, sir? So there is nothing wrong with the loop. It is depends on what are you looking out for. Are you looking out for values or are you looking out for keys and needs? Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. And merging dictionaries and all, so leave that. This is more than enough. Okay. So are we clear on this? So what is the difference between dictionary and all the things which you have discussed so far? All these things which you have discussed yesterday were holding only one value. Here we are holding two values, key and value. So it is a collection of key values. That's the reason why we call it as dictionary, as a key value pair. So what is that dictionary can be changed. Okay. But the point is the keys have to be unique. The keys have to be unique. Okay. Now whatever we have discussed so far, that is, let it be lists, let it be tuples, let it be sets, let it be frozen sets, let it be dictionaries. All of these things are basically sequences because they store multiple items. Okay. That's the reason why we are basically able to use it. Tuples are immutable, but I have added new data. Did I add new data to tuple or a dictionary? Tuple is immutable, there is no doubt about it. But did I add value to tuple or to a dictionary? Nikhil, I am expecting an answer from user. When I added dictionary. Okay. Now someone has asked me, can you explain this loops again? The point is, in generally when we were accessing a list, what is that we have written? For item in items. So then we used to get individual items and then we used to loop it through. You can try to write this similar loop for dictionary. Then you will be getting only values. So if you try to see, I have a state capital over here. Let me try to add something over. Okay. State capitals, and let me try to run all. So if you try to see in my dictionary, I have 3 items. But if I loop it through, I'll be only getting basically, only keys. Okay. Now if you want to access that item, what is that you need to do? You need to again pass dictionary of value. You will not be getting values. So this doesn't make sense. Here you will be getting only keys. But if I try to do this kind of looping, I'll be getting key as well as value. Okay. So if you want both key and value, you will use it. But in this case, what is that you need to do? Print, you need to type for state in. Shall I try to remove? Okay, one. Print state capital, and then you need to write print state capitals of state, because you got state from here. Okay. Now you print the value, will be getting. Yeah. Right. Fine, sir. ఇదంతా బాగానే ఉంది కానీ ఫస్ట్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది? Oh, print state capital. Right. So I have to print type of state. I got Telangana, and then I got the value of it by passing that to a dictionary. ఇది కొంచెం చిరాకుగా ఉంటుంది. But if you try to do in this, okay, there is no need for me to do this. But in this case, it will be straight away easy because I'll be getting key here, I'll be getting value. Okay, depending on what you want to use, you will basically do that. Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. Right. Now let me try to speak about something called as membership operators. Okay. So what are these membership operators? So in Python, you have 2 membership operators, in and not in. Okay. So generally this you can apply on any sequences. Okay. So let me try to write this. let me try to create a capital called array called as states. So AP ఇప్పుడు టీజీ అనాలేమో, టీఎస్ పోయింది అనుకుంటా కదా, రైట్. సో మహారాష్ట్ర का क्या होता है, MH, okay, K, okay, Karnataka, right. Let us stop over here, and now I want to check whether AP is present inside this or not. Okay, so, or let me try to do one thing. Okay, states list. So let me try to write the same thing in states tuple. We can know that we all know that we can convert from one type to other type by directly passing the value of it. Malli evaru raatharu idantha. Okay, now states underscore set is equals to set of states list. Do we have any problem with this? All of them are collections. I'm basically speaking about three different data structures. Now let me try to ask, is AP in states list? Are you getting true? Okay, right. Now Kerala or Tamil Nadu in states tuple, false. Okay, so then what is the other thing? Orissa, what is the Orissa? OR, antena? OD. Okay, OD in states set. Yeah, are you seeing membership operator? You just pass the value and ask it whether it is in the list, in the sequence, and then it will try to tell you. And now let me try to ask whether Andhra Pradesh in state capitals. If you remember, we have a dictionary called as, but here we are checking only keys, not values. Okay, right. Are you seeing membership operators? So in the same way I can try to write reverse. Okay, so for example, Punjab is PB, right? Right, PB in states list, PB not in states list. So I'm trying to that I know that PB is not in states list. What is that you are trying to? Yes, it is not in states list. So this in and not in operators are easier way to figure out whatever item which you are trying to search, whether it is mentioned inside any of the sequence. We can use this for all the sequences which we have learned. So the set, tuple, frozen set, dictionary. But in dictionary, it will try to basically deal with only what you call only keys. Now let us assume that I want to search values. I want to check whether Amaravati is present in the dictionary or not. Let us try to see if there is any way. Amaravati in state capital if you are searching for values, you have to specifically use dot values. Dictionary by default searches for keys. Are we clear on membership operators, sir? Yes, in and not in. Generally, whenever you are trying to search whether the item, if the item is not present, then insert. Then it is very easy for you to check because all you have to use is in and not in. Are we clear on this, sir? Yes. Okay. And now let us try to solve certain things. Okay. So I have two lists and I want to find common items in two lists. Okay. Did you understand the problem? So I have two lists. So let me try to call my first list is, okay, list underscore 1 is equals to, let me try to write numbers. You can put strings also. There is nothing, no problem with this. 1, 2, 4, 8. So then I have list underscore 2. So where I have 2, 4 and 6. So what are the common items between these two things? 2 and 4. But how do I do that programmatically? So I have to write one loop, another loop, and compare each element with other element kada. Anta savu mana savlemu. Right? Remember set theory? Yeah? When you have two sets, what is an item which will try to tell whether the common items are present or not? లెక్కడు కూడా దీంట్లో చదివారా ఏంటి ఆ గైడ్ పేరేంటి సార్ engineering guide spectrum. Yeah, let us assume that I have two sets. How do I find common elements? So we will try to tell that there is something called as this, and this area is something which we call as intersection. Intersection is an area where you have common elements. Antena? Yeah, do we have sets in Python? Yeah. So set underscore list 1 is equals to set of list 1. Okay. Set underscore list underscore 2. This is for our understanding. I am doing this. Set of list underscore 2. Now set underscore list 1 dot intersection of set underscore list 2. Yeah, ఇంత సుఖంగా వేరే లాంగ్వేజ్లో అవదు. Right? Let us assume that you have two arrays where you have found out all the files and you want to find the common files between those two things, because probably they are two different lists from two different systems. Then all you have to do is convert that into a set and then try to find the intersection. Am I clear on this, sir? Yes. Does it make sense? Now if I want all unique items in both lists, సో ఈ రెండు లిస్టులు కలిపి యూనిక్ ఐటమ్లన్నీ ఒక సెట్లో కావాలంటున్నాడు. అప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి? సో వన్ థింగ్ ఇస్ యూ కెన్ డూ దిస్, రైట్? లిస్ట్ 1 డాట్ extend of list underscore 2. Pass that to a set. They have missed something. Okay. Or else we can do this. Set underscore list 1 dot union of set underscore list 2. If you want that in the format of list, then convert them back to simple, sir. Yeah, these are very easy and they are not very complicated once you understand the basic behavior of all of them. Clear, sir? Yes. Okay. Now I have two lists. Okay. The first list is states. Okay. Right. So states is AP and TG and TN, and I have one more list which is called as capitals. Okay. So in capitals నేను మొత్తం రాయను, రాద్దాం నేను సత్తం ఏంటి దీనికి షార్ట్ పూర్ల పేర్లు షార్ట్ కట్లు ఉండవుగా. హైదరాబాద్ and Chennai. I have these two items. Now I want a dictionary out of it. Okay, where states will become keys and capitals will become values. Okay. Now capital underscore dict is equals to zip of state comma state or states are states comma capitals. Now let me try to print capital. Okay. Okay. I need to do only one thing over here. I need to convert this back to dictionary. Ayipinda? Yes. So are they easy? So combining two lists into a dictionary, right? And let us assume that I have a dictionary. Okay. So you have something called as zip method. Zip method will try to combine two iterables. So it can be two tuples, two sets, any iterable values or any sequences. We can convert them back to a type which is called as zip. And zip can be easily converted into dictionary because it will have key and a value. Clear? Yeah, right. So there are many other ways of basically dealing with this, but I think, are they interesting? So what is it we have spoken about? Membership operators. Membership is the easier way to find out whether the item exists or not, in and not in. And then the next thing is, whenever you want to find unique items, so always remember that unique items, I want to find common items, then the easiest thing to be done is set is the easiest way to find out. Okay, what are the items that are present in one list but not in other list? Okay, so these are all set operations, and to do set operations we have a data structure called as set. So for example, you might have done this, right? This is called as intersection, this is called as union, and if you want to find out this items, then you need to do set A minus set B. So then all the intersection will be lost. You will have all of this as set operators. Use them. Make sense? Right? Okay, fine then. So first let me convert this or commit this. Notebooks. Is it interesting, sir? Yeah? Interesting లేకపోయినా తప్పదు మీకు. Okay, this is fine, right? Yeah. Refer here for. Okay, sir. Now let us take a break, come back, and then let us start looking into something called as functions. So what are functions and why should I consider writing them? Okay, right. Okay, fine. So don't worry about that. We are learning that aspect itself. We'll be learning functions now. Okay, sir. Now, functions. So first of all, basically, what is a function? Function is a reusable code block. Okay. So if you try to see, we have already used. Okay. Did we use print? Did we use type? What were they? They were some code which was written by someone in Python, and you and me were happily using that to achieve some functionality. That is exactly what a function is. So we have used list of, set of, tuple of, right? Dot intersect. All of these are something which are basically functions. They are reusable code blocks. So what I'll try to do is, first let me try to use a Jupyter notebook for demonstrating these functions, and then we will try to apply these functions to some of the work which we have done earlier. So functions dot, let me try to add markdown functions. Am I audible to the people over the web, sir? Yeah. All right. కొంచెం ఆన్లైన్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళు తడుతున్నట్టున్నారు, ముగ్గురు మాయమయ్యారు. Yeah, fine then. So now what is a function? Function is a reusable code block. Let us basically try to look into it. Okay. Now the basic syntax of the function, okay, is you will try to write def and then function name, and then here you will be basically passing args. Args are nothing but arguments to your function, and then you will put a colon, and after that you would try to write a block. This block is line of statements. So let me try to show you a simple example. Def add of a comma b. Okay. Return a plus b. So return basically means that when you call that function, that value will be returned. Okay. So shall we try this? Okay. Def add of a comma b. Return a plus b. Did we create a function? Yeah. Now whenever I want to use the function, all I have to do is add of 3 comma 5. So when I do this, what would happen is, in the A, 3 will be passed. In the B, 5 will be passed. And then you will get a return value which is 8. Does it make sense? Okay. So this is add by passing arguments. Okay. Right. And now these arguments are basically called as positional arguments, because first argument is A, second argument is B. And I can call the same function by trying to tell that add b equals to 5 and a equals to 3. And now here, if you try to see, I'm not following the order, but I have defined what an argument name is and what its value is. So this is calling functions by using named arguments. So you are calling arguments by its name. Rendu same, em teda ledhu. So in the first argument, whenever you don't pass a name, you have to follow the order. If you are basically passing the argument by giving its name, then there is no need for you to follow the order. Clear on this? Yes. So did we create a reusable block for add? And whenever I want to add any two numbers, I'll be using this. Clear on this, sir? Okay. Now, whenever you are basically using it, it is not necessary that every function has to return some value. There can be functions which do not return any value. So for example, print numbers from 1 to n. Okay, so I'm writing a function which is define print underscore numbers of max. So now inside this function, I'll be trying to tell that for index in range of 1 comma max print of index. Okay, right. And then let me try to call it as print underscore numbers of 10. So are you saying it is printing values from 1 to 9? Yeah. So 10 ఎక్కువ కాబట్టి 5 పెడదాం అనవసరం లేదు. So I have written the code over here, and whenever I want to print numbers, I will be calling that. Does it make sense? Okay, right. Now, doc string for a function. Okay, so define print underscore numbers of max. Okay, this is what you should ideally be writing. This function prints numbers from 1 to max. Max. In max, ideally, I would expect you to pass integers. Okay. So what is the description? Maximum number till which you want to print. Okay. Now, over here, the other thing which you should be writing is returns. This returns none. Asli function they return j, because we are printing the values inside. It is not returning anything. Okay. Now, if you want, you can try to write examples. And now in the examples, if you try to call print underscore numbers of 4, so this will print 1, 2, 3. That's it. Yeah. Fine. So this, if now if you try to look into this stuff, idantha code gadu, but this is a good practice, because anyone who is looking at your function, you have given them what is the purpose of this function, what are the values which you are passing. When you call this function, what are the values which you would be returning? I'm not going to return anything. And when you call this function, what will happen? Does it make sense? Okay, right. Now let me try to write for index in range of 1 to max print of. మనం ఇందాక రాసిన దానికి దీనికి ఏమీ తేడా లేదు, కానీ దీనికి తేడా ఉందా? So are you looking at this function of how it is and how this function looks like? So whenever you're writing enterprise code, they expect you to do this. They expect you always to document what you have done, because you will not be forever. Okay. And even after you left the organization, there should be someone who will be able to work on it. Okay. Right. If you are not doing that, that is something which we call as we are messing with code quality. Okay. And there are many characteristics of code quality. One of the important characteristic is readability. అంటే కోడ్ రీడబుల్ గా ఉందా లేదా, అంటే రీడబుల్ అంటే ఏంటి, అర్థమవుతుందా లేదా చూస్తే. రైట్. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ ఐ ట్రై టు రైట్ ఫర్ I in range of 1 comma max print of I, yeah, there is no problem, it will still work. But the problem is it is hitting on readability, because you are using cryptic names which do not make sense. Yeah, right. Now print underscore numbers of So are you saying when I'm calling this function, it is giving me all the help? Yes. Okay. So I would expect you guys to use something like this, because this is something which you want also, right? When you are writing code where you are using someone else's functions, you want the functions to help you out to basically cover all the possibilities in the documentation. So print numbers of 5. Does it make sense, sir? Yes. Okay. So do we understand this? We'll be trying to use some examples. Okay. Now, there is no point of doing anything without debugging. So what I'll do is, let us start writing normal code. Okay. So let me try to basically create functions called as okay, number numeric.py. So what is my function? Numeric.py, and let me try to generate a doc string. Okay, over here I'll try to tell that this module, I'm using a new term called as module, is nothing but a Python file. .py and మీరు రాసిన ప్రతి ఫైల్ పేరు module. Okay, we'll be learning about the technical term, but even though module looks like very cryptic stuff, the basic idea of module is nothing but Python file. Anything which you do, something that ab.py, that is a module, and the name of that module is without py, whatever your file name is. Okay, so what is the name of this module? Numeric. Okay, so module is nothing but a Python file, and module can have code, functions, and going down the line we'll be learning something called as classes. Okay, so this module contains helper functions to solve numeric problems. Make sense? Okay, and the first function which I'm trying to do is, I'll try to write a function which is called as is even radham. Simple program kabatti. Is even of number, and then let me try to generate the doc string. So this function will check if the number is even or not. So number should be of type int. So number to be checked. And what will this function returns? This returns true if even. In all the other cases it is okay. Now I'll try to tell that if okay, or return number %2 is equals to 0. Okay, just for debugging purposes, I'll not be writing return statement over here. I'll be trying to tell that is even. Result. అంటే మన ఈజ్ ఈవెన్ చేస్తే రిజల్ట్ ఏమొచ్చింది, ఆ రిజల్ట్ ని रिटर्न చేద్దాం. हमने जब इज इवन किया क्या रिजल्ट मिला हमारे को, और उसको हम लोग रिटर्न कर रहे हैं. Any problem with this? This is the most simplest function and we have used it many times. Okay, now what I've done is, let me try to write a sample code. So for index in range of 1 to 10, so I want to print all the even numbers between 1 to 10. So I'll be trying to tell that if is even of index, then print index. Any doubt here? So I'm iterating and I want to check that whether this number is even or not. There is a code which I have written over here. Okay, so shall we debug this code? Okay, right. So in this debugging, we'll try to understand what return is, what is the value, and all of that stuff. So carefully observe, I'll be debugging it twice. If there is something which you don't understand first time, I'll debug it again. So run debug. Okay. So right now, what is this? step over. I have done step over. Okay. If I want to get inside function, I have to do something which is called as step into. Step into ante aa code like element. So all these days we have never written functions. We were only writing lines of code. Now I am writing functions. If you do step over, right, it will directly run. Okay. So let me restart debugging. So step over. This is a function code which you have written. So what is that you need to do? You need to do step into. Step into shortcut key is F11. Now if you do step into, it will come into this function. Now over here, step over. To execute your line of code, then step over. To get into the function, step into. To get outside of the function, step out. That is what it is. Okay, right. So is even result. Let us try to see what it is. What is the is even result? Now I am returning that is even. Now what would happen? Is even has returned false. Now index is checking for number 2. Now let me get inside function. Is even result. What is the value which I got? True. Now it is returning true. Since it is returning true, it is printing the number. Are we getting this, sir? Okay. Now do we understand what that return is? Okay. So return will return back the value to the calling part. Okay. Return ఏం చేస్తుంది ఎవరైతే కాల్ చేశారో ఆ ఫంక్షన్ కా వాల్యూని రిటర్న్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, ఆర్ వి క్లియర్ ఆన్ దట్ సందీప్? Return statement returns the value. Right. So now if you continue debugging, I'll try to do continue F5 2 4 6 8 and anyway will not be checking for 10. Done. Program has finished. Execute. Okay. So this is the function and this is calling function. Okay. Right. Let me remove this. Okay. So do we understand this part? Yeah. But I'll be trying to basically add little bit of more things to this numeric function and let us try to make it more functional. Okay. And then we will use this to solve Euler problems. So do we understand what a function is now?
Sure.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. Now let us basically try to speak about recursion. Okay. Recursion is basically when a function calls itself. Recursion ante enti? When the function calls itself. Okay. So I'll try to quickly write the code over here. Okay. So define factorial of number. Okay. Right. If number is equals to 0. Don't try to understand the code. I'll try to debug and show it. Then you will be able to understand. Return 1. Else return number into factorial of number minus 1. ఏం చేయండి సార్? ఎంతగా ఉందా? Yeah. But this is an interesting thing. This function checks or returns the factorial of a number. So number is of type int. Okay, which is number. It returns integer. And what is the value? It returns the factorial. Okay. Now let us try to write examples. So if you try to call factorial of 5, it should return 120. Okay. So shall we debug this program, sir? Yeah. So let me try to print factorial of 4 annam. 5 varaku oddu manaki. Yeah. and let me put the breakpoint over here, because I know that this function will be calling and it will basically try to print the value. Okay, ఆఖరి న్యూ లైన్ లేదంట, ఇక్కడ న్యూ లైన్ ఎక్స్ట్రా ఉందనుకుంటా. Fine, nothing is in blue, right? Yeah, fine. So shall we debug this, sir? I put my breakpoint over here. I could have put my breakpoint over here also. If you want, you can put a breakpoint over here also. Okay, debug. Okay, right. Now, if you try to basically look into it, what is the number which you have passed? So 4. Is 4 equal to 0? No. So what it has done then? It has basically tried to tell that 4 is equals to, మనం ఇది రాసుకుందాం, ఇది 4 into factorial of 3. ఇదేనా జరిగింది? So it is called as 4 into factorial of 3. So factorial of 3 will again get into this function. Is number 0? No. So then what it has become? Number is 3 now. So this factorial of 4 has become 3, has become 3 into factorial of 2. Okay. Yes, number minus 1. Now number is 2. So now what it will become? 2 will become 2 into factorial of 1. And if you try to look, eventually it will become 1 into factorial of 0. 1 దగ్గర ఆపేయచ్చు నేను. But what is the factorial of 0 now? It will return 1. Let us try to look into it. Now it has basically become number is 2. 2 into factorial of 1. So 1 into factorial of 0. Now the number is 0. So it will try to return 1. So now this has become 1. So now it will try to do the calculation of all of this. Then it will become 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay. So this program నేను ఇక్కడే ఆపేయచ్చు. Okay. Now if you try to see what it prints 24. If number is equal to 1 అందాంలేండి, 0 వరకు వెళ్తాం ఎందుకు, ఒక ఇటరేషన్ అంత కొద్దిగా. Are we clear on this, sir? When a function is calling itself, that is called as recursive functions. Generally avoid them. Generally avoid them until unless there is a specific need for you to do it in this way. Okay, these are called as recursive functions. Okay, so this is what Inception movie was all about, right? A dream within a dream within a dream and all of that stuff. So that is exactly what recursion is. Okay, fine, sir. So let me try to copy this. Now let me try to factorial of 5. It becomes 120. So are we clear on this, sir? Yes, good. Now generally whenever you are trying to do the stuff, okay, now I want to define add function. Okay, but in add function, if I pass a and b, how many arguments am I adding? 2 arguments. Okay, but what I want you to do is I want you to pass as many arguments as you want. Okay, if you want to add me 10 numbers, I should basically be able to take 10 numbers from you. So now what is that I should take? I should be taking a list here. Antena? Ideally I should be taking add of numbers, and then I should tell that pass a list or a tuple or anything to me. Okay, but in Python there is a easier way, which is something called as star args. Star args means variable number of values. Okay, right. So there is a function which is called as sum, and in sum let me try to pass return or వద్దులేండి sum వద్దులేండి, for arg in args sum equals to 0, and then let me try to do sum plus equals to arg. ఇది వింతగానే ఉంది కదా? Yeah, right. బట్ దట్స్ ఓకే. ఎంతగా ఉంటమే నాకు కావాల్సింది. రిటర్న్ sum. Okay, let me try to show you advantage of this function. Add of 1. ఒక్క ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ పని చేసినా యాడ్ పని చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, యాడ్ ఆఫ్ 1, 2, యాడ్ ఆఫ్ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, n. This means any number of arguments. Are we clear on this, sir? So let us try to see something which is more interesting over here. Let me try to find out what is the type of this argument. Type of so whenever you are trying to write star args, indirectly you are dealing with a tuple. Okay, there is nothing fancy over here. There is a Python syntactic sugar. So ideal ga tuple అని తీసుకోకుండా వాడు అందంగా స్టార్ ఆర్గ్స్ అని ఇచ్చాడు. So when you are passing multiple arguments, you are indirectly passing what? A tuple. So what is a tuple? Immutable collection of values. So now, does it make sense? Yeah, right. So this is something which we call as variable number of arguments. You can pass any number of arguments, but any number of positional arguments. Now let me try to write the function which takes any number of keyword arguments. So now let me try to write def keyword arguments ఏది పని అవుద్ది? Okay, something like test function. Right now I don't have star kw. Okay, and then let me just try to print type of kw args. Okay, first ఇది ఒక్కటి చేద్దాం. Right, now let me try to do this function. Test of, okay, name equals to Python, topic equals to functions, okay, day equals to Saturday. If you try to see, నేను ఈ ఫంక్షన్లో నాకు నచ్చిన ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్లు పాస్ చేస్తున్నా. So what is this? That is a dictionary. Now what is it I can do? For name value in kw args, print of name value. Okay, ఏంటి మనం చేసిన పాపం ఏంటి? టూ మెనీ వాల్యూస్ టు అన్పాక్. ఓ, ఐటమ్స్ వాడాలిగా, otherwise you will be getting only key. So are you saying name as Python, topic is equals to functions, day equal to Saturday. So now can I create functions which can take any number of arguments, whether they are positional or keyword, and then according to your logic you process them. According to your logic you can process them. So are we clear on this, sir? So every function will have what? A name, and it will take arguments, and then it might or might not have a return value. It might or might not have a return value. So let me try to show you this. A function with a return value. So return is equals to add of 1, 2. So add of 1, 2 has a return value, right? Yes. Okay. So return underscore value. And now print of return underscore value. So what is that we got? 3. And now let me try to basically do this. Return underscore value is equals to this function. So and then let me try to print of return value. So what is the return value which I got? None. So basically none means it doesn't have anything. In other languages, we use something called as null to describe it. So for the people who are from C, C++, Java and Python or C#, there we will be trying to use something called as null. In the world of Python, we use something called as none. None ante andulo emi ledani. None means it has nothing. So this function is returning nothing. Are we clear on this, sir? So do we understand functions? Right? So shall we write numeric functions now? Yeah. But for functions, again, Python functions and okay. Let us try to look into what are the functions. So he is creating the function. Define function and then you start a block. And then this def is a keyword to represent that you are creating a function. And this is name of your function. Okay. And then inside that, this is your function's body or block. So once you create a function, you can call the function basically by using this. Okay. Now your functions basically might be calling the same function. This is something which we call as what? Okay. This is outside, but if it is inside, we call it as recursion. Our function lone our function call jese code unte then recursion. So if you try to see, this is the code which is calling it. Okay. So how is it calling it? If you try to look into this code, look at 18. Which character position did it start? This is 1. Print of factorial. Ikkada manam call chesam din. Okay. Right. Now function will have arguments. So I can try to write argument. Anything which you pass inside that parenthesis is something which are called as arguments. There we have looked at fixed arguments and variable set of arguments. And to call this arguments, basically you can pass the values into it. Sorry, saying add of 5 or 4. 5 goes here, 4 goes over here. And then the return statement. Return statement will return whatever value which it is. But if you have not written a return statement, that means that you are returning none. మీ function లో return అన్న మాట లేదంటే your function is going to return none. It is not going to return anything. Probably it is printing the values. Okay. Right. Now pass statement. If you remember, pass is a statement which you basically use to describe that I have not written the code yet. I can use pass inside the if wherever you have blocks. So I can use pass for if, I can use pass for, I can use pass for while. So where I'm trying to that I have not written the block yet, I'll be writing it. That is fine. And these are library functions. Forget about library functions. Okay. Right. Yeah, this is something which I forgot. Default arguments. Okay. For an argument, what you can give is you can give a default value. If the user doesn't pass the value of it, we can take that as a default. We'll be using that. Okay. Inkenti args and star args. Okay. And user defined and standard library functions, I'll come back to that. Whatever functions which you are creating are user defined. Whatever functions which already exist in Python are standard library functions. That's it. Antaku minchi emi ledhu. So for example, the print function which you are using all the time is a standard library function. Add function which you and me have written just now is user defined function. That's it. Okay. Right. Okay. Refer here for samples and now get status get add Okay, sir. Does it make sense? Yeah. Right. Refer here for samples. Now what we'll try to do is let us start solving some of the problems which we have already solved, but this time I'll be using functions. Okay. So I want to find out this. largest prime factor. Okay. So project Euler problem 3. Refer here for problem. So let me go to the code over here and Euler 3.py నీ మొత్తం తీసేస్తున్నాను మళ్ళీ దీంట్లో పనికొచ్చే కొన్ని ఉన్నాయి. So now the concepts contains of functions and for loops also, and we all know about lists, tuples, you can do all of that. So I'm removing this section of concepts because మనం మొన్న రాసినప్పటికీ ఇప్పుడు రాసేదానికి మనకి తేడా ఏంటంటే అప్పటికి ఇప్పటికి జ్ఞానంలో తేడా ఉంది. So we have written the same program couple of days ago also, but at that point of time versus today we know a little bit of more concepts of Python. So first what I'll do is what is the thing which you need to find out? Largest prime factor. So first thing is this problem is divided into 3 problems. The first one is factors, how to find factors, we know that. And the second stuff is I want to find the largest factor. And the third one is I want prime factors. So first let me try to write define is prime of number. This function will check if the number is prime or not. Okay. Number passed. So what this will returns? This returns ఇందాక ఎక్కడో రిటర్న్స్ చూసాను న్యూమరిక్ లో వాడు రిటర్న్స్ int of factorial అన్నాడు కదా. Okay, let us follow this structure. Returns bool true if prime, false otherwise. Okay, so what is a prime number, sir? A number which is not divisible by any number other than, yeah, so I am trying to tell that is prime result is equals to true అనుకుందాం. So for index in, okay, range of 2 to number by 2, but the problem over here is if I try to write 2 to 4, then it will print only 2 comma 3. Yes or no? When I use Python and then if I try to write range of 2 comma 4 and then it will not print 4, it will go only till 3, but we want to check for 4 also. Yeah, so for that reason I am trying to add number by 2 plus 1. Okay, now whether this works out or not, okay, Python operator precedence table ఏదైనా ఒకటే. Okay, so if you try to see, integer division has more priority than addition. Okay, so there is no need for me to add this parenthesis to increase the priority of it. Anyway, number divided by 2 is going to execute first. But if you have any confusion, use parenthesis. మీకు అది గుర్తులేదు అనుకోండి, to avoid that, use parenthesis. Okay, if number when divided by index gives me remainder 0, that means it is divisible and it is no longer a prime number. Okay, right, అసలు ఇది కూడా అవసరం లేదు నాకు. నంబర్ డివిజిబుల్ అయితే ఏంటి, దాని అర్థం ఏంటి? రిటర్న్ ఫాల్స్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎ ప్రైమ్ నంబర్. సో ఇక్కడ వరకు వచ్చేసిందంటే రిటర్న్ ట్రూ, బికాస్ ఇట్ హాస్ చెక్డ్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ద నెంబర్స్, ఇట్ హాస్ నాట్ బీన్ ఇన్సైడ్ దిస్ లూప్. సో రిటర్న్ మీన్స్ ద కోడ్ విల్ స్టాప్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటింగ్, ఇట్ విల్ గో టు ద కాలింగ్. Yes, so if the number is divisible by if the number gives me a remainder of 0, then it is returning false, otherwise it is returning true. అయిపోయిందా? Yeah, right. Now define factors of a number. How do I find factors of a number? This function will find the factors of a number. Arguments. Okay, number is of type integer. Number past. Okay. Now, what does it return? Returns. I'll be returning a tuple. Tuple of what? Factors. Okay. Right. Or if you don't want to return tuple, you can let us try to create a list. Okay. The reason tuple cheddam. But can I change value in tuples? No. So first I'll try to create a list and then convert into tuple so that the user, whoever is calling, will not be able to change the values inside that. Okay. Now factors underscore list is equals to empty to start with. Okay. Antena? Initial factors emi levu.
Yes.
Then for index in range of 2 to number by 2 plus 1. Do we understand the logic for this? Because I have to divide the number from for every number between 2 and the actual numbers. For example, if I'm trying to find factors of 7, I should try from 2 to 6.
Yes.
But the point is, we all know that there will never be a factor which is greater than 50% of it. Okay. So I could have conveniently written number here. There's no wrong. 2 to number. So that means that if the number is 7, 2 to 7 will print two values between 2 to 6. Okay. But if you want to be efficient, you can do divided by 2, because for 100 there will not be any factor after 50. Antena? 100 తీసుకుంటే 50 తర్వాత factors ఉండవు. So if you take 100, there will never be a factor after 50. So that's the reason I'm trying to tell number by 2 plus 1. But if you replace that with number also, the code will work. Okay. But this is a little bit for efficiency. Now, if number percentage index is equals to 0, right? Then factors underscore list dot append of number. Do you agree with me on this, sir? Append ante na list ki add cheyamani. So I am trying to tell that if you find a number which is divisible, add it to the list. And then finally I am trying to tell return factors underscore list. But I said that I will be returning a tuple. So what is an advantage of tuple? Tuple cannot be changed. So it is a mutable stuff. It is immutable stuff. So I want to basically do this. Am I clear on this, sir? Actually ga meer koncham ఆలోచిస్తే నేను prime code ఇదే code వాడచ్చు. Okay, there is no need for me to write this code. I'll call the same factors code if the factors list is empty. Okay, prime ante ఏమవుద్ది, factors ఏమి రావు. Okay, that is the definition of prime number. I can reuse the same code. If the list of tuples is empty, or if the length is 0, then it is a prime number. I can reuse the same code for that, but let me have it separately. Now, what is the thing which I need to do? I need to find out the largest factor. Okay, so let's find the largest factor. Okay, so now the problem with this factors function is, this factors function is basically finding what you call all the factors of a number, but we want to find the largest factor. Okay, so now define largest underscore prime underscore factor of a number. So largest prime factor means what? You are trying to check in a reverse order. You are trying to check in a reverse order. So this function will find the largest prime factor of a number. So if you take 35, it should give me 7. 7 is your largest prime factor. Yeah, right. So number is of type int. Number to be checked for. Okay. Returns Okay, not boolean, right? Returns integer, largest prime factor. Okay, so is there any need with this function to me now? నాకు అన్ని ఫ్యాక్టర్లు కావాలా? If I want to find out the largest factor, do I need to calculate all the factors? No, I just need to calculate one factor, and then that too in a reverse order, and then need to check if it is prime or not. So what I'll try to do is, I'll try to tell that same logic, exactly there, but I'll try to tell that for index in range of, okay, number divided by 2 plus 1. Okay, fine. And then the stop value is 2 and the step is -1, and then let me just print the indexes just for us to understand మన గురించి ఇది. Okay, now let me try to largest prime factor of 35. If I call this, what is this function? Eulers dot py. cd instruction programs Python. Sorry, saying it is starting from 18, 17, 16, and it comes in the reverse order. Because if you try to take 35, you will never find any factor of 35 greater than 18, right? ఒప్పుకుంటారా? Yeah. So if I try to basically take any number, so for example, I try to take 100. Okay, I want to find out largest prime factor of 100. Okay, now if I try to run this program, it should start checking from 51. So this is not required. So what we should do is, it is not checking 2. So now remove this, put 1 over here. And now, sorry, saying it is checking from 50 to 2. ఈ గ్యాప్ లో ఏదైతే ప్రైమ్ నెంబరో దట్ ఈస్ ద లార్జెస్ట్ ప్రైమ్ నెంబర్. అంతేనా? ఎనీ డౌట్ ఇన్ దిస్, సార్? Yes, I am trying to look at all the possibilities. This is my possibility set. Now in this possibility set, I need to find out if the number is prime or not. Now if is underscore prime of index, if this factor is prime, then return index. If nothing is found, then return none. So none means you have not found any factor which is a prime number. Okay, now largest prime factor of, what was the problem? 13195. So print of largest prime factor of 13195. Okay, now let me just try to run this program. Oh, there is something that is wrong. What is wrong? Largest prime factor of 13195. Okay, this program is giving us a wrong result, right? 6581. ఇది ఎలా వచ్చింది? If E is prime, okay, let us cross check, let us debug the program. Things go wrong, I might have done some mistake, let us try to debug it. So debug, I need to get inside the function, and now what is my index? 6597. Okay, 6597 is మనకి ఏమొచ్చింది? 6591 వచ్చిందా? 6581 అది 6581 ప్రైమ్ నెంబర్ కూడా అయి ఉండదు మరి. Return false. 96. Okay. Now, E is prime of, what is the number? 65. Okay, now show. Okay. 6594. అసలు ఇంత దరిద్రం ఎందుకు? Let us try to call print E is underscore prime of, what was that number? 6581. ఏమవుతుందో చూద్దాం. ట్రూ అవుతుంది. That should not be the case, right? Okay. Prime numbers. Calculator. ఎవడోడు చేసే ఉంటాడు. Prime number calculator. Is the number prime or not? 6581. Okay. But అర్థమైంది. మన లెక్కలో పెద్ద బొక్క ఉంది సార్. So first of all, I need to find out whether that is index or not, right? So index lo ఉంది, బానే ఉంది, whether it is a factor or not. So I need to check that if number percentage index is equals to 0, and if it is prime, then you need to return it, because we want not a largest possible number, we want a largest factor. What I have done is I forgot whether it is factor or not. So first the number should be divisible by 13195. So if you try to look into it, calci 13195 divided by, what was it, 6581, na? Yeah. So it should not be fractional, right? It is not a factor. Yeah, that was a mistake. Now if you try to find out what is the largest prime factor of 13195, and there is, I don't think so there is need for debugging. Did we got 29? Yes. Yeah. So we do make mistakes, and the only way to recover from that is debugging. Okay. Now if I try to ask this as a user input, 13195 kakunda, if you try to put 35, you should get 7 as the largest prime factor. Okay. So now this program I wanted to debug, because here you have two new commands. Step into is there. What is that we have? Step into. So whenever you are trying to debug this function, what you need to do is you need to put a breakpoint over here. Okay. Closely look into, sir, because you are going to debug this, but you will be debugging for 35. You will be debugging for 35 and you should get 7 as an answer. Okay. So now debug. My code reaches here. Now I need to get into step into. So if you look into step into is F11. You can use F11 or you can click on step into. I am using F11. So I get over here for index. So what is the number which we got? 6597. But 6597 is not a factor. Okay. Right. So if you try to look into it, it will try to check, and this comes till 27. I want you to debug this for 35. Is that possible? Yes. Okay. Git add added Euler Now this problem you can debug, you can try to run this. Okay, it will take hell lot of time because it has to check for every number bit from half to 2. Yeah, that is, and whenever you are trying to check the prime numbers, there is no way for you to make it fast. But once you learn Python to the deepest level, what you can do is we can run this code in parallel by creating something called as threads. Then in that case, there is a way to figure out. But till that point, your program will be slow because you are going sequential. Okay, right. So once you debug, and then we will open it up for question and sessions, and we'll close the session today. And because we'll continue this in the evening. Yeah. Right, sir. So you need to copy the program which is on the right hand side. Okay. The right hand side on the program copy చేసుకోండి. Okay. And then you are supposed to debug this. Okay. Sir, someone from the web kindly post that link on Telegram, sir. Refer here for solution. Now, what is an exercise? Debug this program for 35. So all you need to do is copy this program and print largest prime factor of 35. This is what you need to do. Okay. Can we debug? Did someone post the link on Telegram? Yes. Please debug this program, sir. ఒక 5 నిమిషాలు లేట్ అని ఏం పర్లేదుగా, ఆకలేస్తుందా? ఆకలేసిన ఏం పర్లేదు, పడండి. ఆకలితో ఉన్నోడే బాగా విజయాలు సాధించినట్టు చరిత్రలో ఉంది. రైట్. ఆ విషయం నేను టిఫిన్ చేసి చెప్పకూడదు, కానీ నేను అదే చేస్తున్నాను. రైట్. ఫైన్ సార్. Kindly debug this program, sir. If there is anything confusing, we will discuss about it. Okay. But remember, today what we are trying to do is, when we write our own functions, we step into it. Till yesterday, while we were debugging, we were always doing step over. That means execute the line and then give me the result. Yeah. Right. Do it. Learning Python seems little tough. I want to come down to the class. Please come down over here, sir. But coming down over here will not make it any simpler. You will be just looking at my face. The only point is you can definitely come down over here. You will be able to solve this only when you make mistakes. Our tendency is to write the program first time and it should be working. And if you have seen me, even I make mistakes in the class. Okay. For you, you are starting your coding journey. I have finished my coding journey and still I make mistakes. Okay. And the only way to resolve from your mistakes is debugging. Okay. That's the reason why we are focusing on debugging, because if you try to see just now, I have forgot that I have to find out the largest factor. Okay. And then I've basically looked into every possible number. And then what are the fix for it? I had to just calculate whether it is a factor or not. Okay. Right, Avinash? ఖచ్చితంగా రావచ్చు సార్ మీరు ఇక్కడ ఇబ్బంది ఏమీ లేదు తలుపులు ఎప్పుడు తెరిచే ఉంటాయి 6 వరకు అనుకుంటా రైట్ ఫైన్ దెన్ సో లెట్ మీ డీబగ్ దిస్ కోడ్ సార్ బట్ డోంట్ జస్ట్ లుక్ ఎట్ కోడ్ ఈ కోడ్ ని పెన్నుచ్చుకు చూసారా కాటాకు వచ్చేసినట్టే దానికన్నా ఈ టైం ఏ సంగీతం నేర్చుకోండి యా మనసు కన్నా ప్రశాంతంగా ఎడుతుంది ఓకే సో డీబగ్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ దట్ ఈస్ ద ఓన్లీ వే ఫర్ యూ టు లెర్న్ కోడింగ్ యా let me try to debug this. So I'm calling the function which is largest prime factor and I'm passing what? 35. Now let me do F11. I come over here and if you try to see number, and number has a value which is called as 35. And now here number by 2. 35 by 2 will give me how much? 17. Okay. So here I'm starting from 17 and I have to go till 1. That is, it will go till 2. And I'm calculating a step of -1. That it first it will go for 17, then 16, then 15. So now I have found is 17 a factor of 35? No, it is not a factor of 35. Then it came to 16. 16 was also not a factor of 35. 15. 15 is not a factor of 35. 14. 14 is not a factor of 35. 13 is not a factor of 35. 12 is not a factor of 35. 11 is not a factor of 35. 10 is not a factor of 35. 9 is not a factor of 35. 8 is not a factor of 35. 7 is a factor of 35. And then I am doing F11. So because I need to find out whether 7 is prime or not. We all know that 7 is prime. So it returns true. So that's the reason it has written 7 and it has printed 7. Okay. Are we clear on this, sir? Yeah. So this is the way I want you to debug. Don't try to take larger numbers because that will make your debugging confusing. Try to do with a smaller alternative. Okay. If you want, you can try something like 21. For 21 also you'll get 7 as a factor, but it will start checking from 10. 10. It will try to check for 9. 10 is not a factor. 9 is not a factor. 8 is not a factor. 7 is a factor. And is 7 prime or not? Okay. So if you want, you can try for 70. So if you try for 70, it will start looking from 35. Okay, 35, is it a factor? Yes, but 35 is not a prime number. 34, not a factor. 33, 32. Try doing this and then you will be able to understand what is the code which I have written. Am I clear on this, sir? Yes. So 13195. So if it is finding for 29, it will work for that also. It will be very slow. That's the only reason, because we are speaking about a largest number. Okay. Now let me open it up for questions. Do we have any doubts, any troubles, anything which is haunting you so far? Nothing? Okay. Right. So we have not finished functions. We have started functions. We still need to understand more about functions. So there are something called as generators. Yes. That is something which we'll be understanding in the evening session. Okay. And we will try to dive deeper into a little bit of more functions. And once we understand these functions, let us start looking into text manipulations. Once you have strings, how do you manipulate them? How do you convert them into uppercase, lowercase, and all of that stuff? Then we will start object-oriented programming. what are objects, and then we will try to look into all the methods. Because if you try to see generally in programming classes by now, we should have generally what people do is they'll try to show you all the string methods, all the int methods and all that stuff. I don't follow that approach, because you should know why we have those methods. Okay, but the best way to understand that is something which is called as classes. Once we understand what a class and what an object is, you will understand all the methods usually. Okay, and then in Python, basically there is something called as dunder methods. Dunder is double underscore methods. So they are special methods. What are they? So we'll try to speak about all of them. Yes, Rajnish, go ahead. Do you want me to unmute?
Yeah, I did that. Hi. So my question is that after learning all this thing
One
about
minute, one
Pythons,
minute, 1 minute. I think the audio is going to headphones. Yes, Rajnish, go ahead. Can you repeat your question?
yeah. So my question is that after learning this Python and how we are, writing programs and all, where it will help or boost up our DevOps path line
So
career.
for example, let me try to take a couple of scenarios. The question over here is whatever we are learning over here, how will it help in DevOps? Okay.
Yes,
So just
in
now,
our career.
yeah, just now I've given a couple of examples. For example, if you remember, I've given two lists, and then I have basically tried to said that what are the common items between these two lists. So for example, if you have two Git branches or two repositories of Git branches, and you want to find what are the list of common branches between them, the only way for you to figure it out is normally you have to go through this list, and manually compare. Now, get the list of all the branches in one list of all the other repository branches in other list, and now you do the comparison. Okay, so these kind of use cases will arise, and whenever you are trying to write some kind of automation to do some activities, for example, in DevOps, I would typically say that you are supposed to write a Jenkins pipeline where you need to do something which is not available in Jenkins. ఒక feature ఏదో అడుగుతున్నాను, so I'm asking some feature which is not available in Jenkins. So then
So
you would be expected to write some of your own code. And whenever you are trying to write your own code, you need to understand how the code executes, and how do you build the logics. I am taking mathematical problems to have a common ground, because prime numbers, numerical numbers is something which all of us understand. That's the reason our programming is only till that point as of now. But as we proceed further, we will try to solve those issues also.
but this thing will get into play only when our developer is developing all this thing in Python.
And no, not really. See, the point is, developer writing code is for building applications.
No,
That is
no,
fine.
just like you said, like you have the two list and you take out those and compare and all and make your own code and something. But if the language used by the developer is something
No, no,
different and
the point is, let us assume that your company has maintained two Git repositories to maintain uh, the same code in two different repositories. Now you have to find out all the common branches and try to merge them. This is your job. Now, how will you find out what are the common branches? There are approximately 150 branches in each repository.
okay.
Okay, so these kind of situations and generally, for example, whenever we are deploying our applications or deploying databases, okay, so you will be asked to create a database, and after that execute a import the data into the database. So how will we do that, right? How will we basically do these kind of automations? For all of the scripting helps, but bash scripting is a little bit of tough. In Python, we have large set of libraries which will make our life easier. Yeah, right. So one example for with respect to cloud which I can give to all of you is, when let us assume that I want to shut down all of my machines, okay, during Christmas, which belong to dev environment. Production should be running, but during the last weekend, all dev, QA and UAT machines should be shut down. Okay, let it be in AWS or let it be in Azure. So how am I going to do it? There is only one option: do it manually.
Cron jobs.
Yeah, cron jobs also you have to write script, right? Cron jobs
So in
will call
Python
it.
also we have to write something, no? Like it will not
Yes.
happen.
No, the point is you have to write, but it will be simple. Okay,
Okay.
right? So it will give you open up more automation options. So when you are trying to tell that, you will write AWS shell scripts or whatever it is, you will be calling AWS CLI, which in itself is a Python program. The AWS CLI and Azure CLIs are Python programs. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I have enrolled for DevOps and multi-cloud class. Is there a class to, sir? This is something which I am not understanding. You have enrolled to DevOps and multi-cloud class. Is Python not part of it? మళ్ళీ వద్దా పైథాన్ ఆపేద్దామా? ఓకే, ఇదేదో సాంస్కృతిక కార్యక్రమంలో చూస్తారండి, నాకు అర్థమవుతుంది. దిస్ ఇస్ ద మెయిన్ థింగ్. అండ్ టు బి వెరీ ఆనెస్ట్, అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ ద థింగ్స్ విచ్ యూ లెర్న్, దిస్ ఇస్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ వన్. Yeah, because this is what is basically going to make you different from others. Lot of the people, see, for example, I am a developer. I joined developer community. I am one among many. You are a DevOps engineer. Not many people know coding, but you are able to do it. You will be treated specially. Yeah, so don't try to look at it as extracurricular activity, sir. This is a major activity. I'm not sure why. అంటే నేను చెప్పడంలో ఏమైనా తేడా ఉందా? మన ప్రధానమంత్రి వచ్చి అప్పుడు చెప్పాడు కదా, రైతు ఏంటి చట్టాలు మాఫీ చేసినప్పుడు, నేను చెప్పడంలో నేను తప్పు ఉంటుందని. అలాగే నేను కూడా అదే చెప్తున్నా. ఓకే, సో ద పాయింట్ విచ్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రైయింగ్ టు టెల్ ఇస్, డోంట్ ట్రై టు ట్రీట్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఎక్స్ట్రా కరిక్యులర్. దిస్ ఇస్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. Yes. Okay, so yesterday I've given you an example of Kalki also. When big movies release in your villages, all theaters will be playing only big movies. Python is a big movie. No small movies like AWS, Azure and DevOps now. It is only Python over the weekend. Clear, sir? Yeah, right. So again, do we have any trouble in solving problems? So I am not trying to tell that you will be able to solve with whatever pace which I am doing. I don't expect that. But the point is, are you able to write at least few lines? Because when we have started, I think 1 week ago, not many of us are used to this world. This was not our cup of tea. This was some other people's work. But now, when I ask you to solve some mathematical problem, can we give an attempt? I am not asking results. Results will come only by practice. Okay, if I showcase some mathematical problem, can we try writing Python code? All you have to do is exercise. It is like a muscle building. It comes only when you practice a lot. But don't try to practice the same program again and again, then it will become by hearting. మళ్ళీ 100 సార్లు పీస్ ప్రైమ్ రాశారు అనుకోండి, గుర్తుంటుంది మొత్తం. Okay, so I'll try to tell you one example. In our, all of us will have, whoever are engineering, in the first year, I'm not sure what is this thing, but when we used to study, for all of the engineering students in the first year, subjects were same, no matter whatever branch which you take. And in that, C and data structures used to be the common subject. Okay, now I don't know what is it. This is what used to happen. So there used to be one student, and out of all of the lab questions or lab programs, the easiest program was how to find out whether the item exists in an array or not. So you need to create a C array, and then you need to search an item in an array. That's it. The most difficult one was binary search tree during our stuffs. So there used to be one of the student, yeah, he was my friend, by the way, right? So in the Viva, he got, generally in the lab, what you do, you pick up the lottery questions, right? You take the lottery and you will get question. Luckily, the question which he got was, find an item in an array, if the item exists or not. He went to the faculty and he said, sir, I can't solve this problem. And he said, this is the simplest of all. And then tell me what he can do. He said, binary search tree. What he has done is, for the 3 days, he has by-hearted binary search tree program. Okay, and then he has written it. And unfortunately, faculty was very much impressed, and he also got 48 marks. I also got 48 marks. And బట్టి కొట్టిన 48 మార్కులు వచ్చినాయి ఆయనకి. ఓకే, నాకు తెలిసి 100 మార్కులు కూడా ఆయన ఇప్పుడు 48 రాలేదు. అదే ఒకటే ఫస్ట్ టైం. The point is, let us not by heart programs. Let us try it, make mistakes, get it corrected. Okay, so if you basically want to have a debugging session, and if you are participating, then I don't mind taking 3 hours only on debugging, where you try any questions which you have, you share your screen and ask me the question, I'll help you out. I can do that. But the moment I do that question, what would happen is, normally when I'm trying to tell that I'll take the class, if the strength is 100, when I try to tell that today we are going to have a workshop, the strength will become 30 because we have recording.
Sir,
Yes?
one request, sir. We can have at least one debugging session hands-on, so that we can.
I am willing to do that, sir.
Please, sir.
I want that. The point is, the moment I say that you have to take the ownership, you have to share the screen, people disappear, sir.
I understand, sir. I think people who are serious will join, sir.
Yeah. So we'll do one thing. We'll have the debugging session as one session over this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, sir.
So let us do it on Sunday night. Okay. Let us have. I'll be basically sharing a problem, and for that problem, I'll try to write half code, and rest of the half have to be written by you. You debug and write it. Let us have that session. But for that, if you participate, then I'll have motivation to conduct more. But if you don't turn up, for me, it is waste of time. Okay. రైట్ సండే ఈవినింగ్ అనగానే మనం హాలిడే వైబ్స్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాం. రైట్. సో అసలు మన దగ్గర జీతమే లేనప్పుడు హాలిడే ఎక్కడ వస్తుంది? రైట్. ఈ క్లాస్ లో ఉన్నోళ్ళు మాక్సిమం నిరుద్యోగులు అనుకుంటేనే మనం బాగుపడతాం. రైట్. ఫైన్ సార్. సో ఐ విల్ డెఫినెట్లీ హ్యావ్ వన్ డీబగింగ్ సెషన్ ఆన్ సండే ఈవినింగ్. ఓకే. బట్ ఐ వుడ్ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ అన్ అటెండెన్స్ దేర్. ఓకే. నేను బల్లో ఉండే కాడికి అనవసరం ఇంకా. యా.
Thank you, sir.
Any other? We'll do that on Sunday evening, sir. Right. So any other questions, sir? అసలు అవకాశమే లేదంటారా? అన్ని వచ్చేసినట్టు ఉన్నాయి మీకు. See, Chandrasekhar, it is one thing which you need to understand is generally people who come from different backgrounds, they try to tell, sir, I am not from computers. Computers వాళ్ళు కూడా పెద్దగా పడుతుంది ఏం లేదు ఇక్కడ. I know a lot of people who come from computers who do not know what I've spoken about, because all these days the way they approach programming is completely different. Okay. So in this class, what we have done is we have taken a practical approach. We debug the code. If you want, if you don't believe in my words, one day I'll try to make you sit in full stack class of any of the thing which happens in our institute. Just try to see how they are learning programming. I'm not criticizing others. The point which I'm trying to tell is learning approaches basically taken wrongly. Okay. So we try to focus more on remembering the things. Okay. But if you have followed my approach, I don't focus on remembering. You make mistakes. Visual Studio Code will tell you that you have done something wrong. Okay. Syntax తప్పు రాస్తే డైరెక్ట్ గా ఎర్రర్ లైన్ చూపిస్తుంది. కోడ్ క్వాలిటీ ఇంప్రూవ్ చేయాలంటే బ్లూ లైన్ చూపిస్తుంది. ఎంతకంటే సుఖమే ఉంటుంది సార్. మేము నేర్చుకున్నప్పుడు ఏం లేవు. Right. When we learned, we didn't have all of this. So we used to do mistakes. You debug the code in Turbo C editor. And then finally, when we went into the industry, and then we have seen that the industry standard is completely different. It has taken few years for us to learn all of this. So for you, fortunately, you have all the tool sets and you have best practices published by every organization. But when we started, that was not the case. Okay. Right. So don't even worry that you are from a non-technical background. And if you understand correctly, lot of billionaires in this industry do not belong to computers. What was Bill Gates' education which he discontinued? It was not computers, right? And he was a decent programmer. Okay, so there are many people. It doesn't have nothing to do with program. అసలు మీకు ఇది అర్థం చేసుకుంటే అసలు దీనికి కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్ వచ్చుంటేనే ఇవి అర్థం అవుతున్నది ఏం కాదు. So all you have to do is you have to execute instruction by instruction. That's it. Okay. So don't worry about your skill set. Yeah, people who have done computers might have some formal education. They might understand some terms. What is process? What is an operating system? What is boot? But the whole point is those things are very easy to learn. Okay. One thing which you are not covering in this class is data structures, because I am not training college students. If this class was for college students, I would have spoken also about data structures. Okay. So if you try to open any operating system files, they are arranged in a tree structure. If you remember, how many of you have learned Git? In Git, we used to draw that commit history, right? So different branches, commits, and all of that stuff. That is called as DAG, Directed Acyclic Graph. Okay. So you take any workflow, right? That is again a graph. So these are the data structures that come into play. We are not doing that. We are basically practically learning programming so that we can build small command line applications and backend APIs. That is our intention. Okay. So don't worry about your backgrounds. It doesn't matter. Okay. And for the people who are finding it tough, there is nothing wrong. Let it be tough. Okay. So for the people who are from other states, I don't know, but in అందరు తెలిసి ఉంటాడుగా. Yeah. ఈయన గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. Yes. The biggest quote which this person tries to tell is डब्बू उरकने रादु, पैसा चुप के खाली आता नहीं है, उसके लिए मेहनत लगता है, तो कहीं भी जाके सोना मत खरीदो, मेरे दुकान पे आ जाओ. ये उसका ऐड है. इस बंदे को याद करो. डब्बू उरकने रादु. Yeah. So there is one question which is what is one here? Okay. So Nikhil has asked me this question saying that what is one here? So generally range function, if you try to look into range function tries to tell what is the start, what is the end, and what is the step. So here when I'm trying to tell if my number is 35, okay, 35, sorry, 35. Number by 2, well, I'm trying to tell that my range starts from 17 and it should go till 1. That means that it will go from 17 to 2. Because if I try to write a range of 1 to 10, it will print from 1 to 9. Okay. And then I'm trying to tell that increment in the steps of minus 1. First it will be 17, then 16, 15, 14 till 2. Am I clear on that, Nikhil? Yeah. All right. Okay. So in గుర్తెట్టుకోండి సార్, కావాలంటే నోట్స్ లో కూడా యాడ్ చేస్తాను నేను మమ్మల్ని. రైట్. Again, as I said, one of the use case of Python is you can automate some of your works. I have automated my notes uploading. Yeah, you can automate your job search also. In Python, if you are interested, every day you are searching for jobs, right? In Naukri loan and LinkedIn loan search chestunnaaru anukondi. So what you can do is, let me try to show you. Once you learn Python, you can give it a try. Yeah, enduku debug avutలేదు, right? Oh, రెండు సార్లు చేశానేంటి? లేదులేండి. Right. So what you can do is you can search for Python web scraping. Web scraping means Python will go to the website and search the information whatever you want. So try to look into this article and using this article figure out how can you basically scrape Naukri to find out what are the DevOps jobs, and then try to write a code which will send an email to you and run this in an AWS free tier machine. So every day night it will search for all of that, and by the morning you get up, you will be receiving an email. You can automate your work. Okay, but this takes a little bit of time. You need to understand HTML structure or whatever it is. నేను ఇవన్నీ చేయలేనండి, నా వల్ల అవ్వదు అనుకున్నాను అనుకోండి, there is a tool which is called as UiPath, which is an RPA tool, robotic process automation. Go and download this tool. There is a free tool. Try to look into how do I fetch some text from this. You can automate. మీరు చేసే చాలా పనులు మీ automate చేసుకోవచ్చు. This doesn't require Python, by the way. Okay, right. So there are many tools to automate whatever you're trying to do. Yeah, right. Fine, sir. I have uploaded the notes. In the evening we'll continue this discussion and kindly debug. Okay, so there is no need for you to try to write the program exactly by stopping the video and trying to type whatever I am typing. In that case, you are verifying what I have already done in the class. Okay, so try to write whatever I have done in the class on your own by remembering the problem statement, speaking with Flora, and then writing the code. If you make the mistake, if you are unable to figure out for more than half an hour, then try to look into what I have done and understand your mistake and make a note of it somewhere. Okay, just do that. All it will take is, it will take around 20 to 25 days for you to become decent with programming. Okay, and whatever we have learned in all of this, next Tuesday onwards, I'll have a half an hour session on shell scripting. And then you will understand that whatever we have learned so far is exactly the same. Syntaxes are changing. So you'll be learning shell scripting also. Using these techniques, you can learn any language of your choice. Okay? ఎవరన్నా లేదు కాట్లిన్ నేర్చుకుంటే ఉద్యోగాలు గమనొస్తాయి అన్నారు అనుకోండి, సేమ్ స్టోరీ, ట్రై టు లెర్న్ కాట్లిన్. యా, ఇట్ డజంట్ మ్యాటర్. Right. Fine, sir. Thank you.